So the first thing that I do whenever I start my day is to always put stuff in my journal. A lot of people are asking me how do I balance both my college and my YouTube, and the answer to that is I don't. But if I honestly have a real tip for anyone that's currently doing school and needs to quote unquote get more time, the rule to that is that you do what Labine says and you always have time. It's just that you're procrastinating. So get off your lazy butt. So the next thing that I do is I grab my notebook and I start writing down for my scripts and I start doing my research. Usually whenever I just do my research, I tend to have like a topic already in mind. I don't just blindly go in there. I always try to make sure that I have a purpose on what I'm researching just so that I can narrow down sources. So for example, if I'm looking for cults and rituals for sacrifice, I usually just go look for the Ars Goetia, the Abramelin, or any of the cultists like texts that I managed to find somewhere in the obscure parts of Google, and I immediately just delete my browsing history just in case someone finds me and I get shanked. But if it's more of a Genshin theory, I usually just use the artifact sets. That's one of my primary sources for information. And then if ever that I know that there's a world quest that's also correlating with that, I also try to look for it. Usually whenever I use world quests as like my evidence, quote unquote, it's usually just like you're sifting through a lot of garbage, like just a lot of filler text, and then you see that one line that you really need to support your theory, and you're just like, God bless your soul. So every time that happens, I usually just write everything down just to make sure that I don't pull an oopsie and just forget them. That's the biggest tip for me personally for the people that want to pursue a degree that needs a lot of research. In my opinion, always write down and always make sure that you're note taking. I know that a lot of people are going to be like, oh, I have a really good memory, but writing down always helps you organize your own thoughts and makes you see a layout of it. And one of the most important things that was taught to me while I was still a high school student was outlines in research papers are one of the most important parts, especially if you're going to do a thesis defense or something like that. Just take it from me, always write stuff down if ever that you want to remember or ever you want to organize your own thoughts. Sometimes I also do my research in front of my Scaramouche pillow just in case that I decide to get lazy, so I know that something is going to shank me in the event that I try to lay down and get like 10 minutes of sleep. Now the next thing that I have to do is obviously to write the script. I usually use Google Docs for this, and if you don't use dark mode, I pray for your eyesight. Honestly, if you don't use dark mode, I just assume you're not human and you're probably a robot like Albedo. And honestly, most of my scripts are like 2,000 words to 3,000 words at best. They're not really the longest scripts, being honest, and then I usually just trim down if ever that I feel like I'm just repeating my words or I feel like I'm just pandering for time, because sometimes it does happen. Most of the time, I always just have to do schoolwork like this that's also that long. So writing scripts for me just comes as a practice whenever I have to do my own college research papers. So honestly, it's a really interesting pastime to just type down all of your thoughts. Sometimes it is kind of difficult to do, especially when you're having a writer's block or you don't feel like doing anything. So I just kind of put it on the back low. I like writing in the night, especially when it's like midnight when everything's super dark, and it just makes me feel much more relaxed. It's always super important to make sure that you don't get distracted whenever you do your work, and most of the time whenever I do get distracted, I always just kind of look around my room and try to get to the zone again and just focus back on my writing as though someone has put a gun next to my face. Now comes the more difficult part in my opinion, which is recording audio. A lot of people actually think that recording audio is perfectly fine, but for me, recording audio is one of the hardest parts of doing the videos. First and foremost, I don't live in an area, or I don't have a room or a studio that's like isolated in terms of sound. So you get a dog, you get the airplane, like random ass like noises in the distance. But for me personally, I really love doing long narrations, and I just like reading scripts and dialogue. I think one of the best parts of making these kinds of videos is whenever I get to do those quotes, like those role-playing quotes and dialogue that don't have in-game voices, so I have to like make it for myself. And yeah, I really enjoy like reading from a script. So the video in the background is actually me opening a Mimo gift package, and first and foremost, I honestly just really want to say thank you so much for 33,000 subscribers, and hot damn. I honestly didn't think that I was going to get this far with all the Genshin content that I was creating, and honestly, this channel was just something that I did while I was thinking about shifting courses. I wanted to get some firsthand experience into the media research field, I guess, and I decided that YouTube was a really good platform for me to try out and get an audience just so that like I can get firsthand experience on how audience research actually works. And thank you. Honestly, I just like I promise that I'll always keep doing my best, and I promise that I will do my best to also take a break. I know a lot of people are telling me to take a break, but I just really like making videos, and I really like making theories, and I really like reading Genshin lore, and this everything actually, just like not just chill with Aster, but also like all the different mediums. I think one of the biggest things that I always tell myself is that the biggest part of life is when you try to experience things, new things. Always try to experiment on the random stuff. I don't know. And thank you again. Thank you. Just thank you so much for all the support. You told me like a year ago that I would be opening a package from one of my favorite game developers from a game that I will grow to love so much and have a community of intelligent people. Honestly, like there are just some people in the comments where I swear to god, you people have galaxy brains. Like honestly, I'm really happy whenever people comment really long stuff. I usually read comments because I get bored like easily. I just like read it on my pastime. I don't get to reply to them all, but I usually just read comments, and a lot of people are like big mega galaxy brain, and I really hope that I can at least like be on par, on standard, I guess. I don't know. I just like making videos, and I really hope that you guys also enjoy watching those videos. So yeah, thank you so much for all the support, and thank you for tuning in. I suppose that my name is Aster, and thank you for chilling with me.